fueling your curiosity right now?
Right now, so I had this big awakening with the whole coronavirus thing.
Yeah,
Um, so I work in an industry that I was already doing probably 80% of my meetings over Zoom, so like
yeah,
for me, it didn't really crush my world to see in-person interaction go away. Okay. Now I love in-person interaction, but it didn't crush my world or my business to see that. But what happened shortly after coronavirus, so they in Utah, they put everybody, they say, hey, you need to stay at home more, shutting things down. And then like 2 days later, we have this earthquake that for most people who's used to earthquakes, probably not that big of a deal. For Utah, though, we don't really get a 5.7 earthquake ever, like
well,
it just doesn't happen. And so what it brought to my mind though was, man, my business as of right now, yes, although I can do it online, I'm still restricted to making money only if I can work
mm,
online, right? So what happens if all the cell towers go down? What happens if we have an earthquake and power's out, right? At that point, I'm screwed, right? I'm out of business.
yeah,
And so what I've been thinking about right now is, man, I need to have more online programs. I need to be targeting like Facebook message or Facebook marketing, different countries and different areas of my own country, that so that I can even more so diversify my income. Because if I have online courses, online books, everything like that, then somebody in Africa could buy my course, even
mm,
though America might be shut down or America might have some horrific accident where we don't have Wi-Fi or internet. I could still be getting paid from somebody in Africa. And,
yeah,
and I think too often, I mean, even you and I, you're in Australia, right? I'm in Utah, and that's such a unique thing.
mm,
But with my licenses and where I had built my business from, I'm kind of restricted from that aspect of my income to America. And so I've been thinking even more so about how do I get something that's a universal product anybody can buy. It's duplicatable. I don't have to be there to babysit it, but they can get it, it's useful, and in their own country. So that's what I've been focusing on, honestly, for like the last 2 weeks. Just how do I create this package as fast as possible and get it online so that people can be, so I can diversify my income, because I don't want to end up not having income just simply because the
that's
internet
right.
went down.
Yeah, yeah. It's a crazy old world. I mean, it's a paradox. I mean, we're banned from traveling overseas, yet here I am speaking to a guy on the other side of the world, and it just seems like everyone's been brought close together, though we're not physically,
Mm-hmm.
can't physically touch one another. It's just, yeah, it's. I think this whole coronavirus thing, and I listened to a webinar a couple of weeks ago saying is this is the great accelerator, and everything that was supposed to be happening in 4 or 5 years down the track has now been brought forward now. So yeah, I think you're onto something there.
Yeah, and I would say if your business, again, if your business didn't or isn't evolving through this, it's going to be obsolete. I mean, I think
Yeah.
even I've been talking to some like real estate professionals, and although actual like home real estate, I don't think is going to go anywhere. I could see a lot of empty office buildings once they really identify how to maintain standards and how to have people working from home everywhere. Think of
Mm,
how much somebody's paying in having a brick and mortar building off of their
yeah.
overhead. Just like, if all these call centers could get wipe that off their overhead, having a brick and mortar, and still maintain standards of excellence, I just
Mm,
I can't see people continuing to have those expenses if they don't have
yeah.
to, which is, it's going to be a unique place. I think in America, I don't know how it is other places. In America, it's estimated 32 million people are going to lose their jobs, which is just,
Yeah.
it's obscene numbers. I bet 2/3 of them, maybe 3/4 of them, get their jobs back. But I could see a large number of them, their jobs are going to be obsolete at the end of this.
Yeah. I think the same in Australia. We're talking about 18% unemployment, which is unheard of. It's almost like the Great Depression,
Yeah.
really. We had the recession about 30 years ago, and it was about 11% unemployed, but now they're talking 18%. I also think this is a great catalyst for AI and robotics to start take in and replace all the manual labor. Because if the next pandemic we have less less we can still have restaurants that can serve with robots, we can probably save a lot more industry than we have right now. And I think this is a great catalyst for many changes. And I'm, for one, I'm looking forward to the post-corona world. Don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I am. It's going to be, I have no idea what to expect, honestly. Like when you go look at other major shifts in history around these types of things, it transforms the countries for sure, but the world, it transforms them. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out. And again, I can't stress enough that if you are there, there's an old song that I love listening to, and these are the only words that I know of in the song. It's just an instrumental song by a guy named Paul Cardell. And the words are, there's three types of people in this world: the ones who make things happen, people who watch things happen, and then the people who say what happened, right? And if you're not making something happen, I don't think you're going to be, I mean, there's going to be issues for you in a few months here.
Yes, right.
For sure.
Yeah, and finally, have you got any lighthearted stories we can share with the listener?
Some lighthearted stories. Give me a topic. Give me a topic of a lighthearted story.
Oh, I know, life in isolation or anything that's happened recently that, you know.
Yeah, so no, so my wife, so we have two little kids, 3-year-old and he's almost 3. He turns 3 in April. And then my other son's 1. And my wife has decided that since we're all quarantined, my little son is going to start, we were going to potty train my son.
Right.
And so, you want a lighthearted, this is what I think is lighthearted. So I was sitting in the bathroom, going to the bathroom, and my son, he's always had a diaper on, right? As most kids would, but now we're letting him run around naked or with his underwear. Yeah, so a 2-year-old discovering that he has a penis is what it is. And so I'm sitting on the toilet and I hear some slapping sounds, and he's 2, okay? I'm not saying he's masturbating or anything, but I was like, "Hey, Declan, what are you doing?" And he's like, just playing with my penis. I was like, okay, like there's going to be plenty of time for that when you're older, but okay. So anyways, I think it's hilarious because it's boys figuring out their body, and it's completely innocent, it's completely innocent. Yeah. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, things get away when you're free, but if I do that now, I get arrested, but...
Yeah. As long as you're in your own home, you're probably good.
Yeah. Hi guys, it's Dave from 12 Hats Media Lab. If you like what you see, like and subscribe down below, and make sure you support me on Patreon. This is the 12 Hats signing out.